Hey, what's up guys? Welcome back to the garage. My name is Nemo and today we're getting started back on the Chrysler Crossfire SRT6. We've got a lot to do on this car. But before we get started, this video is going to be a little bit different. I realized last time I was uploading and getting the video put together, I realized that the footage that I'm getting from my phone is not working out too well. Basically the phone is cutting pieces of the footage out, little bits of audio, little bits of video that are getting cut out of the video, and I don't like the way that it's turning out. So I have another camera on the way. It'll be here soon. So for this video, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to get to work continuing to tear this thing apart, and I'm going to do it pretty much all in time lapse. Just one big time lapse going through the car, tearing things apart, and then hopefully here in the next week or so that camera will be here along with a bunch of parts so we can go ahead and get started on this build. And real quick before I get started, I did want to give a little bit of an update on kind of what's going on here. So I went searching for an engine. I found an engine. I had it lined up. We were going to do the engine swap, but I didn't have the money at the time to buy it. I had to get the money sorted out first so we could afford to do this fix. By the time I got the money, that engine had been sold. I was like, no big deal. I'll just find another one. Well, come to find out there are no more engines. I searched everywhere. I searched on probably 100 different websites, eBay, and all over the place looking for an engine. I called scrap yards all over the country in Virginia and Texas and California and Florida, all over the place trying to track down another engine for this car, and I just can't find one. The only engine I was able to find was on eBay. It was the exact engine that I needed, but it had a little bit high miles. It was like 120,000 miles, which I really wasn't too comfortable with. But the biggest issue with it was an entire engine with the supercharger, all of the accessories, the hoses, the wiring harness, literally everything was a drop-in engine, which great, that would make the whole process a lot easier. But they also wanted like $4,000 for it, and I really don't have that kind of money. We've only got about $3,000 or so to actually spend on this project. So now instead of doing an engine swap, we're going to go ahead and do an engine rebuild, which means the whole process is going to take quite a bit longer, but it is what it is. So I'm going to go ahead and jump into the car here and get started on tearing things apart. I'll set up the time lapse and we're just going to get working on it. Alright guys, it was a lot of work over the course of a couple of days. Got quite a bit of stuff done. It's kind of hard to show because it's all little things, just getting little bolts and hoses disconnected here and there. So let me try to show you what I did. So the alternator is gone. There's one wire down here. It's this wire here. It runs down underneath the exhaust manifold. It also connected to the alternator. But to get to it, I'm going to have to wait till I have the engine lifted out of the bay just a little bit, and then I should be able to get to it pretty easily. I got most of the bolts out of the bell housing, but there's one more down underneath the car that I'm having trouble getting to. So I'm going to have to get a different size socket. The issue that I have is, this is the socket that I'm using, and it is too long for me to get in there. So I need to get a shorter socket of the same size, and I should be able to get in there and get that taken off. I got this line disconnected for AC, power steering line disconnected. The AC, I would definitely recommend, if you ever need to take off your AC line, probably drain the AC system first. That was, I mean, I should have expected it, but that was definitely a shocker to me when I pulled the bolts off and just had the line explode on me, so that was fun. But that's been taken care of. So as far as the engine bay is done, like the wiring harness is disconnected all over there. Pretty much everything is out of the way and ready to go. And then I also went ahead and removed all of the exhaust from the underside of the car. So those are the mufflers. And then everything else that came off is just laying here, so I'll be able to get to work on that. Hopefully here in the next week or so, most of the parts should be coming in. The big thing I'm waiting on is going to be the engine hoist, which I think is probably about 2 weeks out. So as soon as that gets in, we can start going ahead and getting the engine pulled off again. I think the only thing left that I have to do on the engine is the one wire, which I have to get the engine lifted partway out to do, the one bolt on the bell housing, and then there are 2 engine mounts that I have to undo. But once those are done, I can go ahead and lift the engine out and get started on rebuilding that. So I think the next video, until we get the rest of the stuff brought in, all the new parts and everything, I'm going to go ahead and probably start working on the supercharger. We're going to go ahead and tear that apart. So bring it over here. So I'm going to need to pull off the throttle body, the electronic throttle body. This section here, this will give me a look inside the supercharger. I need to figure out, I believe there's a drain bolt somewhere up here on the front side that I need to pull off so I can drain all of the gear oil out of there. And then I need to take this beefy intercooler off the bottom of the supercharger. And then we can go ahead and start cleaning that up and getting it ready to go, so we can go ahead and tear it apart, clean it up. Probably going to repaint it. We're going to look at doing a pulley swap. I'm not entirely sure if we're going to do that right now, but maybe something that we do. But yeah, I think next video we're going to go ahead and start working on just tearing down the supercharger, getting it taken apart and cleaned up. And then maybe if we have time, we'll go ahead and get the welder set up. I'm probably going to do the welding out back because there's really not that much room in here to do the exhaust. I may do it in here, I don't know. But we need to go ahead and pull the welder out, clean up the exhaust pieces and try to get that welded together so it works a little bit better. And then that'll be ready to go back on the car. So that is it for this video. If you like the content you're watching, go ahead and like and subscribe. That really helps the channel. I really appreciate that a lot. And again, hopefully the video quality will get better. I've got a new camera coming in. It should be here later this week, I hope. So that'll improve the video quality quite a bit. Make things a little bit easier, as well as having the tripod with it. It gets you some better shots here and there. So but that's it for now. I will see you guys next time. Thanks for watching.